Hello my friends, welcome to this little tank guide I made for a buddy of mine who's just getting into the game. This guide ended up being a lot longer than I thought it would be, and I kind of had fun with it, so enjoy. So the first tanks that we're going to be starting with are heavy tanks and medium tanks, but I'll start with heavies. So I feel like these are like the backbone of the game. They've got a bunch of armor, they can jump right into the fray, and then that's what they usually do. So these tanks, generally anyways, they're the slowest class in the game, but the most well armored, so you can bounce shots, and they come in all sorts, right? You've got ones that have good gun depression, so they can peek over hills and get shots off like that. You've got some that have strong turret armor, so they can hide behind things and, you know, go hull down. Fuck, what else we got? You've also got some that are like really well armored, the super heavies, and they move fucking slow as molasses, but you know, they'll bounce a bunch of shots. All the guns are different on the tanks. You've got some that hit really hard, you've got some that shoot often, you've got autoloaders, basically they're all different. They're all different, every tech tree is different. I'm just gonna do big general sweeping fucking, you know, just generalizations for every class of tanks. So to give you an idea of like how these type of tanks play, I'm going to put on a video from our buddy Ryan. So the first thing you'll notice is that you know, he's not going super fast. So what Ryan is doing in this game, he's going down to the bottom to brawl it out with other heavies. And you'll see what that's like. While trying to avoid getting shot by artillery, because they love fucking shooting at slow, big, stupid, and heavy tanks. Oh yeah, see? You see what I mean? Nasty buggers. Alright, so it looks like there's a lot of people waiting down here for him, and he keeps getting tracked. But one thing you'll notice is that, when he's aiming at him, he's looking for weak spots, because most of the tank you shoot at it, you bounce, but if you aim at the right spots on heavy tanks, lower plates or wherever it might be, that's a weak spot. Another thing you'll notice that he's doing is he's kind of driving in on an angle, and he's doing that so the shots will bounce. So now that he's finally gotten into cover, what he's going to start doing is he's just going to peek out and shoot and then go back into cover. And that's kind of how the heavy tanks play most of the time. Peek out, shoot. Aim for weak spots. Try not to get shot by Arty. And yeah, basically that's the idea of playing a heavy tank. You've got armor, you use it, you drive right up into the front and fuck shit up. One thing to note is that these things are pretty slow. So once you commit to one side of the map, if things go awry on the other side of the map, you're gonna have you won't be able to go help your teammates usually. So you just have to push through. Heavy tanks usually are not really all that flexible. They can't be everywhere because they don't have the speed. So yeah, that's just something to consider. So just a quick aside, I'm gonna cut to another game of a heavy tank, but I'll talk about the medium ones a little bit too. Mostly because I don't have a tier 10 medium. They're faster, still fairly armored, but not as much as the heavy. But basically, and just saying they're faster, that's like, it doesn't sound like much, but it is. You can look at the map, you can relocate, you can retreat, you can flank, you can do whatever you want. You could show up in the spots before the enemy even gets there and get a couple in, So this game that's playing now with the IS-7, which is a pretty fast heavy tank, you'll see, like, most of the time you wish it was just a little faster trying to catch up with these things and trying to chase them down and stuff. So speed is nice. It's you can, sky's the limit. Most people, the better they get at this game, the more they want to be able to drive around and fuck shit up. So right now you see the base is getting capped, and as it stands, I wouldn't be able to get back. I'm not gonna make it in time. I'm too slow, despite being a pretty fast heavy tank. But luckily there's a medium in front of me, and maybe he can get there in time. Oof. Go, you bastard, go! And just like that, he reset the cap. So now their last tank is a big fat tank destroyer, yeah, the Agaroo, which there'll be more of that in the video. I shouldn't have stopped here. But it's very slow, and I am faster than him. So I'm gonna, you'll see what happens. But, I mean, generally speaking, when you're playing a medium, you can do this to other heavies or slow tank destroyers or what have you. And now I just fist him. That's it. He can't do nothing. He's too slow. And one thing you can do also to these slow tanks is track them. Kaboom. Right, and then you can't move. Then you stick your barrel in the side and go to town. Oh yeah. Kimochi. Just me, you, and Sam Rhoda. Oh yeah. Okay, that's enough. Okay, now onto light tanks. Now these tanks I think are the hardest to play in the game. And while they can deal damage and stuff, usually they're used as like the eyes of the team. So usually, well, not usually, most of the time their job is to spot the enemy. But later in the game, they can do all sorts of things as the map kind of clears up. But I'm just going to play two little examples of types of spotting. So the first one, the one we have here, is well, it's supposed to be passive spotting, but it's not really. We have a light tank driving in the bush, spotting the enemy team, and then his team is just well, lighting them up. Light tanks are pretty small, so they have lots of camo, so they won't get seen. And most of them have really good view range and, you know, equip all sorts of equipments to see better, just for spotting. So here we have a more passive slash active one. Usually the passive ones, they just chill in a bush and then spot like that. And then the point is, yeah, just to spot the enemy and light them up for your team. Got a need for speed. Well, you might like playing EBR. Crazy bastards driving around like lunatics doing backflips. These things are menaces. So the next step that we'll have is the more active light tanks. Those are the ones that just drive around and in the open and spot for your team and try not to get hit because they're so fast. But these days, it's mostly EBRs, Ferraris, that do this because they do it so well. So here we have a little clip of one driving around. His team is on the hill, and he's just gonna spot for them. Right, he's not hiding behind bushes. He's not staying stationary. He's just going balls to the walls. And you can see he's spotting them all. So next we have the tank destroyer class. You have some that have no armor, so they chill in the back and they snipe, and that's what's playing now. Or there are also tank destroyers that have a bunch of armor, so they can go to the front lines, kind of like a heavy. But one thing most tank destroyers, or all tank destroyers, have in common is a pretty sweet gun. So the thing about playing the sniping type tank destroyer with no armor is that if you're spotted, you're dead. You're just dead as disco. You see that light come up. Good night, sweet prince. But if you're not spotted and you happen to see a bunch of tanks, like your team spotting a bunch, then you can do some pretty nasty things. And one thing you'll want to do is relocate when you have to. And knowing when to relocate, that's kind of, that's important. So we're also just gonna look at a couple quick clips of the tank destroyers that have real big nasty guns, cause they're fun. So we're just gonna watch some of those and laugh. The best part is when people accidentally drive in front of you and then realize it and try to back up.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
So that's pretty much it for tank destroyers. Big gun, slow or fast with no armor. So that just leaves one class left. So, you're thinking about playing artillery. Maybe you made some wrong decisions in life, and now you want to exact your revenge, raining down hellfire upon unsuspecting souls who just wanted to have fun. Before we go on, I think it's important for you to see what happens to the people you shoot at. Yeah, not very fun, is it? Now let's look at things from artillery's point of view. If you're still thinking about going down the arty line, you have ones that hit for a lot of damage, you have ones that have a very high gun arc so they can shoot behind buildings and stuff. You have ones that have a low gun arc, so they can't shoot behind buildings, but the shot will hit faster, so you can shoot people on the move. There are artillery that shoots very fast, but don't deal a ton of damage, so you can keep the enemy perma-stunned. And yeah, that's basically it. Drive yourself to a corner of the map and prey upon unsuspecting victims. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Good luck, happy tanking, and I hope this helped in some way, shape, or form.